By the late 2000s, Tom Petty was regularly playing to seas of tens of thousands of people. He had reached the absolute apex of rock stardom. He was operating in the highest tiers of the music industry, sharing elite studio space and trading verses with rock gods like Bob Dylan. Then, he suddenly started booking 900-capacity clubs. Instead of standing center stage with his signature Rickenbacker, he stepped back into the shadows to play the bass. He was splitting vocal duties with Tom Leon and Randall Marsh, two musicians the general public had absolutely no knowledge of. A rock icon rarely walks away from a billion-dollar touring machine to play backup in a bar band. In 1974, Tom Petty and his band Mudcrutch packed into a van, driving into the desert to hunt for a record deal in Los Angeles. The Los Angeles recording industry swallowed them whole. Their debut single flopped, the label lost interest, and the group splintered. Petty, along with guitarist Mike Campbell and keyboardist Ben Montench, formed the Heartbreakers and achieved global superstardom. Leon and Marsh went home, left behind as historical footnotes. Decades later, in 2008, and again in 2016, Petty called them all back to California to finish the records they never got to make. Bringing unknown musicians into a high-end recording environment alongside the Tom Petty machine creates a recipe for stiff, terrified performances. To bypass that intimidation, Petty and his engineer Ryan Uliate abandoned traditional recording studios in favor of Petty's gear storage space, a building they called the Clubhouse. Uliate hid a Pro Tools rig in a neighboring office. Inside the playing room, there were no isolated vocal booths or headphones. The band listened through live monitor wedges. Uliate removed the red recording light, secretly capturing high-fidelity tracks while the band jammed. Petty utilized the Clubhouse as a laboratory for psychological engineering, valuing the band's comfort over perfect acoustic isolation. Petty also enforced strict rules on his own creative process. He refused to play finished demos, preventing himself from subconsciously dictating their musical parts. He stepped into his original role as the bass player, sonically demoting himself to ensure a level playing field. He insisted the process be entirely democratic, requiring Mike Campbell and Randall Marsh to take over lead vocals on their own songs. Without the pressure of a ticking studio clock, the band nailed complex takes entirely live. Sometimes a song went from a rough idea to a finished master in 35 minutes. By disarming his own authority, Petty extracted pure Florida swamp rock from a band that had been frozen for 40 years. When Mudcrutch 2 released in 2016, the band hit the road for a low-stakes 5-week club tour. The gigs were raucous and loose, featuring surprise drop-ins from 1970s heroes like Roger McGuinn. This joy stood in sharp contrast to the album's actual lyrics. The songs took a hard, clear-eyed look at aging, nostalgia, and the physical toll of roads not taken. The music video for the track I Forgive It All, directed by Sean Penn, anchored this reflective tone, following an aging man visibly grappling with his past. These mature themes transformed a project meant to rectify a youthful failure into a profound essay on forgiveness. Tom Petty passed away in 2017. The Mudcrutch reunion stands as the final chronological release of his lifetime. Songs like Hungry No More and I Forgive It All serve as a perfect, haunting conclusion to a 40-year career. This reunion gave Petty a rare opportunity to step outside the demands of his own legend. The anti-studio functioned as an escape hatch, letting him shed the weight of his icon status to end his career as he started, just a bass player jamming with his friends.